Hello, everybody. How are you today? Of course, it's Wednesday, and of course, this is my video day. And today, of course, we're going to talk about letting go of attachment. Can you read that? Letting go of attachment. And I don't know if I did a video about this before, letting go of attachment. Maybe I have. And you know what I've been laughing about? About the fact that I've done all these videos over the last several years, and they really are a process of me evolving. And I think, and that isn't even the correct word, but it's like my own personal journey of evolvement, for lack of a better word, for the last several years, and how I've come to the realization that I'm not coming back to this place. And I do believe it is a process. And of course, I have found some new information to listen to. And I think that's how it goes. I think that what ends up happening is it's a progression, and a progression of opening up. And as I heard today from this wonderful man, who I'm going to listen to all of his videos now and maybe try some of his out of body experiences, his methodology, he's passed away now, is that we're all contained like in a box. Like we all are in this box when we're here. And a lot of what holds us back from opening the doors and windows to these boxes that we live in, which I do believe I lived in a box for a very long time. And it was like, I don't want to step out of the parameters of this place because it's known. And I think so many of us are in so much fear all the time. And for me, what's been going through my mind for the last several years since both my parents passed away is that I was afraid of what death meant. What does death look like? Before my parents died, I didn't think about it a lot. And then once my dad was so afraid of dying, and because he had almost died as a young person from polio, and my mom really didn't talk about it. But another interesting thing and then we'll get to letting go of attachment, is I read today that in some of the comments of this man I'm following, or these videos I'm watching by Robert Monroe, is they said there's two reasons why we're so afraid of death. One is we celebrate our birthday every year. So it's like every year we're getting closer to death is what we think. And I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but I do think that when we put so much, for some people, when you put so much pressure, or you talk so much about birthdays, they're like, oh my gosh, what does that mean? Does that mean my end of life is going to be at such and such an age? Or we get caught up in that sort of feeling, oh my gosh, I'm aging. And then another one this man said was, when we keep asking, how old are you? How old are you? Because we don't say how, and I'm saying this, we don't say to each other, how young are you? How do you feel? What is making you feel so young and alive? And how many days young are you? It's just, again, that language switch. But I digress as usual. We're talking about letting go of attachment. And this has also been a really big process for me for years. And I would question why things would leave my life. And I really didn't get it. And there was times when things were really hard for me to understand, gosh, why did that person leave my life? Or why did I have to let go of that thing? Or why is it that I'm not doing the work or the career that I thought I would be doing? And I have to let go of it. I have to continue to let go of people, places, and things. And we don't leave this world in a way that says, I'm not coming back, usually when we're attached to things, and it could be relationships, it can be material things, it can be ideas, it can be senses, our senses, sensations. We're addicted to this place. We're addicted to all of the senses that are stimulated here. So I'm going to challenge you today and ask you, what are you really attached to? Are you really attached to material things? Do you have addictions to certain sensory experiences here that you really love? Are you attached to, a certain lifestyle or money, or what is it? What are you attached to? And I think, because I know that I'm not coming back to this simulation, or this guy calls it simulacrum, that I know that I have to let go of things. I know I have to let go of people, places, and things, and sensory experiences, because I don't want to return to this realm. And all the people that I'm listening to, as I say, I've been saying every week, all the people that I'm listening to, that I'm reading, I'm realizing that they're in the same boat as me. And maybe we're all on the same spaceship or something, who knows? But I just know that I am meant to reach a place where I say, this is it for me. I'm finished. And I think I've known this for a while. And I think the challenging part for me has been not knowing. I'm following like the breadcrumbs, or I'm following the yellow brick road, if that's what you want to call it, in this lifetime, because I've had so many lifetimes here that it's like the culmination of all my lives. I have reached this place where I know the truth, and I'm not going to buy into the illusion anymore. And I was listening to this Forever Conscious Research talking about one of Robert Monroe's interviews, and they were talking about this whole illusion and how we can get out of the illusion of this place. And we know there's an illusion to it now, and we are coming to the truth of understanding. And the more we do that, the more we have to let go of attachments to anything here, so that it doesn't try to bind us to this place or hold us back and keep us reincarnating over and over and over again. Because I've also heard that this might be the last 6,000 year episode of this, whatever it is, this, not the Phoenix event, but I can't remember what it was that Archaix was talking about. But when we let go of the illusions and we see the truth and the reality of what this place really is, then we are empowered and we're convicted, and we can let go of what we need to let go of, so we can move out of this, whatever it is, learning space, growing space, passing through space, passing through this time, whatever. Well, when we don't live in time, that's an illusion. So when we let go of attachment, we get more clarity in our lives, and we start to see what really matters. And back to what Robert Monroe said, is he's like, we're all in a box. And when we start to see things differently, or we start to let go of certain things in our lives, and we're searching, what I've been searching for is freedom. And I would say to myself, what do I need to be free of? What do I want to be free of? And I definitely know that I want to be free from attachments, because when I'm attached to certain things, it's like whatever that Bible verse said, it's more difficult for a rich man to pass through the eye of the needle than a camel. And it's because of all his wealth and his attachments to the human world, to this human existence. And we're not this physical body. That's not, because when we transition and this falls away, we still have our consciousness. And if you've really worked on it in this lifetime here, and you've paid attention to the clues and the breadcrumbs and the yellow brick road, and you've maybe had some out-of-body experiences, or you've done meditation and you've come to grips with that you're not really just this 3D physical thing, that consciousness will transfer, and you will have that cognitive dissonance or development and that awakened consciousness when you leave, and you'll be able to make different choices. Yet I know it's very, very critical to not be attached to things here on this planet. And if you haven't done that work, and you haven't stepped into that place that says, okay, I can live without X, Y, and Z. I can do without this or that. It doesn't mean you still don't have it in your life, but let's say it got taken away, or let's say you lost it, or let's say, your relationship fell away and you didn't feel whole or complete. Well, those are the areas that you've got to work on. Those are the things that you have to work on, because if you're attached to things here, people, places, and things, sensory, feelings, emotions that are tied to this place, they will probably say, well, don't you want to go back and experience that again? And maybe you will be coerced into believing that you want to experience it again, or maybe you just do. Maybe you just want to experience those things. But I believe that those things are possible in other places where there isn't so much suffering, and where there isn't war, and where there isn't hierarchical sort of systems set up. And I do believe that there is, maybe this one guy from Archaics even talks about how this is just a simulation of something that's like this, but this place has been infested with parasitic energy. And when we also are attached to things here, we are being fed what's called loosh energy. They're feeding off of us, and they want that battery power. And the more we can let go and feel free and just be of the awareness that we are not just this, then the less power we're going to give these other beings that either are, in my opinion, stuck here, or this is a realm that is a lower vibration. And so, yeah, I mean, I just know that I have been guided to let go of so much in my life and release it, set it free, not be attached to it in a way that says, if I don't have that, I'm going to die. Or if I don't have that, and I mean that like sarcastically, like as a teenager would say, right? If I don't have that phone, or if I don't have this gadget, or if I don't have the right hair, or if I don't have the right clothing, then I'm not worthy. And therefore, I'm going to have to come back here. And I think that is very important when you're on your spiritual journey, to really learn to let go of so much. And it's also about working on fear, letting go of fear, letting go of any sort of resentment or rage or trauma, anything that you feel has a binding hold on you, because that's when you're also fed upon, and when you also are sucked of your energy, is when you have these hangups or these situations that you've not resolved. And those are pieces that you're attached to as well. And sometimes they take a while for you to really let go of them. And that is understandable. And you got to find somebody that can hold your hand and walk you through that trauma, or that resentment, or that rage, or that pain. And sometimes it takes over and over and over and over, and you feel like a broken record. But that's when you will have those breakthroughs. And if you do the work, and if you show up for yourself, and this is an individualized experience. And I heard that word again. I heard that word a couple times this week, is that we are having a highly individualized experience, but a lot of the negative energy, or the way this place is set up, it tries to keep us all in this collective sort of hive mind, where we are all participating in the same kind of stuff. And when you become an anomaly, or when you start stepping out and getting out of your fear and doing things differently, and not following the pack or the herd or the crowd, when you start becoming a different person and really starting to delve into and invest in yourself, that's when the magic happens. That's when you really start to see more clarity, and you get clearer on your own path. And it is an individualized journey. We're not all here supposed to be living in the same way, but that's kind of what this realm wants you to do and wants you to be, because then it's easier to manipulate you. So when you begin to let go of attachment, and you start doing the work for you and for your highest good and for your own, quote unquote, which I can't think of a better word, evolvement, or your own freedom, let's say your own freedom to be released, liberated from this place, that's when all these wonderful things, and you see more clearly what this place is, the illusion of this place, the deception of this place, and then you get to make a choice that you don't want to come back here. And there are I keep hearing there are hundreds, thousands of other realms that we can visit, and we do not have to be stuck here. And I do think that, yes, there are things that you have to grow from, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you can't make another choice or choose to be somewhere else. And there's so many unknowns, and I find that too when I'm listening to people. It's like, this is what I feel is my opinion, or this is what I feel is what's right for me, or right. And we all kind of have a difference of opinion, but you've got to even step out and start having an opinion, and stop following the collective and start doing your own individualized journey, and truly seeing the illusion and the craziness of what's going on here. And I didn't see it truly until a few years ago. I mean, I think I did as a little girl. I saw it, but I became so indoctrinated and followed so much dogma that it was very hard for me to weed through or decipher what this place really was. But I knew it as a little girl, and all these people I'm listening to and reading their comments are like, I knew this as a little person. I knew this, and but then what happens is we are dumbed down, or we're told to shut that down, or we're told that's wrong, or don't do that. And that's not fostering our true growth. And then we're put in all these systems which just keep us in enslavement. So if you want to get out of enslavement, if you want to stop being a slave, and you want to be free, and you want to get out of your little box, then you got to do the work. And sometimes it's not easy, but if you have a guide, or if you have a facilitator, or you have someone you trust working with you, it's not so challenging, and it's not so hard, because you have someone else to rely upon to kind of weed through the challenging or hard pieces. And I mean, there's so many opportunities for us to see the truth, and a lot of us are so distracted all the time. And I keep hearing that word. It's like we're so distracted all of the time that we don't take the time. And I know in my own life, I could be very distracted with many things, but this is what I want to get out of this simulation. I want to be free, and I've known this for a while, and I didn't know this is what was coming up in me, is to be free. And that's why I called myself a freedom coach, which I thought was so weird at the time. But now I know it's what I'm helping people do, is become free of the indoctrination, the illusion, the dogma, because it is so heavy here. And there's so many facets to weed through and to go through. Yet, and so sometimes that's not easy, but it is simple if you just continue to listen to your intuition. And yeah, so letting go of attachment is my message today. If you are interested in working with me, you can send me an email. My email at melissa@melissakrange.com is down for the moment. I don't know why or what happened. But you could send me an email at revupyourlifewellness@gmail.com, or you can just post something on the bottom of this video. I always love to hear what's going on. Like, what are you letting go of? Why don't you put something in the comments and tell me what you're going to let go of? Or maybe because the solstice is coming next week, you want to do something to let go, so that as the light comes in more after next week, you're bringing in something new within yourself. I mean, I always feel like with this time of year, I'm really shedding a lot of stuff that I don't need anymore, and preparing myself to bring, yes, more light, more information, more consciousness, more joy, more good in my life. And I know that I go through this every year, and I used to call it the Christ consciousness was really rising up in me. And I don't really know if I feel like that's what it is anymore or not, because I'm just looking at new things. And when you look at new things, you're questioning, you're wondering. And I do that a lot. And I won't solidify or say for sure something until it really anchors in me. So who knows, just there's so many unknowns. But it really is great when you have a mentor or somebody walking with you in something that you're unfamiliar with or you're maybe afraid to do. And so I would love to be that person for you. So send me an email at revupyourlifewellness@gmail.com, or you can put some comments or send me a direct message. And I hope you are having a lovely, fabulous day. And I will look forward to connecting with you next week. I hope, just because my children will be home, and we'll see if I can get one of these videos done. But all right, talk to you soon. See you soon.